The last major accident investigated by the Spanish took place in 1977. A KLM jumbo jet taking off ploughed into a Pan Am jumbo which had just landed. It was the world's worst air disaster. 575 people died. It too happened at Los Rodeos Airport, Tenerife. In both the 1977 accident and the Dan Air crash, human error was held responsible. When mistakes are made at small, badly equipped airports like these, there is no technological safety net, precious little to prevent misjudgment becoming catastrophe. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the Dan Air disaster is that despite the fact that this airport has now claimed the lives of over 1,000 people, it is by no means the worst in Europe. Despite its reputation, there are many other airports which are potentially far more dangerous and into which every summer thousands of holidaymakers are flown. The International Federation of Airline Pilots has a system for warning their members of the dangers they face at difficult airports like these. Most of them are small holiday airports, quiet for most of the year, and then frantically busy with charter flights for a few weeks. Each year, the Federation publishes a secret list awarding stars to airports in accordance with their lack of safety measures. On their rating, Tenerife is merely an orange star, meaning it's deficient. The airport at Madeira, though, receives a red star, indicating it is seriously deficient, as are the airports at Menorca and Bilbao in Spain, Bordeaux and Nantes in France, Sardinia, and the airport at Athens. But two European airports get the worst classification of all, the black star, meaning they are critically deficient. One is Corfu, one of the most popular British holiday resorts. The other is in Italy.
Fly to Rimini Airport, gateway to the beautiful Adriatic Riviera. Chosen by many leading tour operators because it has so much pleasure to offer all the family. Sunning on a golden beach, enjoying the warm waters of the Adriatic, or just admiring the scenery.
What the advertisement doesn't mention is that to pilots, Rimini is a black star airport, critically deficient in safety measures. The surrounding terrain is dangerous. There's no instrument landing system or ILS on one runway, no approach lights on another. There are no lights to mark the end of one of the runways, and no system for telling pilots they're on the correct glide path. The Pilots Association advises its members not to fly there at night, but still British companies do. Rimini is one airport, the pilots say, where to spend only a small amount of money would improve safety enormously. The Italian government has not been prepared to do so.
There are other airports, not only in Italy, but also in other countries. For instance, Spain, Greece, and some other countries. I don't like to list all the airports in the region on which ILS is not provided. But
yes, but because other
are landing there.
Yeah, but because other airports are inadequate is no excuse for the inadequacy of any particular one.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I agree on that.
Well, the pilots say it's like, when you come into Rimini, it's like flying into a black hole.
Oh. Let me smile, please, for that. I don't think so. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm not in agreement with this position.
Do you admit that it's deficient?
There are some deficiency. This is true. This is true, but they are not affecting safety, first of all, because safety is assured by the installation that are there.
Does the fact that it has a black star worry the Italian authorities?
Oh, well, I would say that is not worrying. It's concerning, maybe, a little bit.
Vamos a ver, ¿tú tienes alguna approval request para Londres ahora?
But on many holiday flights, the hazards begin long before touchdown. This is Air Traffic Control Headquarters for the Canary Islands at Las Palmas. It is Spain's most difficult area with overcrowded airspace and poor communications.
Okay, sorry, but we don't have any news on...
Large parts of Europe are still without radar, and controllers must direct aircraft by what's known as procedural control, by talking to the pilots and writing down on these strips of paper where the pilot thinks he is. In the height of the season, this primitive system is all that stands between a package holiday and a catastrophe. Out of all the air traffic control areas in Europe, the worst is probably the stretch between the east coast of Italy and the holiday resorts of southern Greece. The journey through Italian airspace is fraught with possible dangers.
We had last year, and also this year, in January, I guess, in March, I don't remember exactly, in Torino, in Bologna, and also in Cagliari, some interference which impose us to close for the service these systems.
You couldn't operate instrument landing systems because private radio stations were broadcasting.
That's right. This was the situation, exactly. This was the situation.
When the planes leave Italian airspace for Greek air traffic control, the problems get even worse. In theory, no controller should handle more than 5 or 6 aircraft at a time on procedural control. But trained controllers are so few and holiday flights so many that in Greece that standard is simply ignored.
In Greece we don't have radar to see where the aircraft are. So the only mean to know where they are flying, where they are, is by reports by pilots.
How many aircraft would an air traffic controller have to handle at any one time?
It depends on the period of the day, but usually it's around 10. Sometimes it happens to be 20, up to 25, or something like that. It's difficult to count how many flights you have.
How do you feel mentally after 6 hours of guessing where planes are, talking to pilots, talking maybe up to 25 in your area at any one time? What does your brain feel like at the end of it?
It's difficult to answer because you are so tired that you don't think how you feel, because your brain is not working normally. It's just like a jelly.
Exhausted and under-equipped, Greek, Italian and Spanish controllers are expected to prevent accidents, but they are at least conscientious. Outside mainland Europe, the situation is even worse. To reach the Canaries, for example, pilots must fly from Spanish into Moroccan airspace before reaching Canaries control. As one pilot put it, when you enter Moroccan airspace, you can only pray and wait.
Casablanca control, or the Moroccan control, is almost non-existent.
So how do you cope? I mean, you enter Moroccan airspace.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that you're not going to hit another aircraft which may be as in the dark as you are?
We use our own frequency. We have our own frequency, and all pilots, we used to broadcast. And we transmit blind. All of aircraft engaged or flying in this area, within the area, we used to listen out in this frequency, and we know the positions by this frequency.
Basically, then you're flying through this black hole almost, saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here.
Yes, every 20 minutes when we are in some conspicuous points, we give some broadcast for the rest of the planes, and we're just getting writing down all the planes that are in and out